as developers, we have to know how to save money. We have to know how to negotiate. We have to know how to make deals. We're not the government that has an endless supply of tax, that they can just get a proposal to redesign all their entire civil system and say, oh yeah, that's great. That's a good price.
Or print more money.
We've only got a certain amount of money, and we have to be able to save where we can. So when we get a quote on something, we don't get one, we get 3 or 4, and then we don't always take the best one because you get what you pay for, but you really have to analyze those side by side and make sure they're apples for apples, and then depending on who's doing the work behind it, then you'll know which one to choose. But we still try to save money everywhere. And there's a reason for that.
You're saving it for your end consumer. Obviously, you're saving money for yourself.
Those savings get passed down.
Okay.
Those savings get passed down.
Yep.
Right?
But ultimately, we have to start the savings from even actually before you. Because wherever you're allocating the money from, like where's your source?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you my source.
No, don't tell me the source. But that's essentially, there's a big trickle effect. So if you're borrowing money, okay, from example of this $15 billion, then you have to now know what to do with it in order for your end consumer to fully reap the benefits of it.
Well, they don't just give you part of that $15 billion fund to just do whatever you want. You go with them with an application.
I see.
With a completed application.
Like this is where every single dollar will go.
This is where every dollar will go. This is the building. These are the plans. These are how many units, where it is. These are what our projected revenues are going to be.
Do they have a say?
Rents.
Do they have a say?
They do.
Oh, yeah, they do. They have a say in the rent.
They have not only in the rent, but in terms of how many are universal, how many are adaptive.
You want to hear a story? I'll tell you a story. The very first time I sat down in front of CMHC, they told us that our building was too luxurious because it had in-suite laundry. I closed my book and I said that was a short meeting. And they said, whoa, where are you going? My answer was, if a rental suite cannot have in-suite laundry, then I don't know what you guys are trying to do
me,
here.
that's
what
not
are you trying to
considered
promote
luxury.
here? That's not luxury. That's an everyday necessity. You can go rent a condo from the everyday investor, and he's got in-suite laundry or she's got in-suite laundry in their unit. Why can't a product that's funded by the Canadian government have in-suite laundry? What's so luxurious about that? They were used to having laundry rooms in the P levels,
Common area
laundry rooms with a whole bunch of machines. You go in there and you drop a toonie in there and you get to wash your clothes. And then you got to lug them back up to the 8th floor.
Okay, you know what we're doing right now? Nick, at your camera right there.
Welcome to Groundbreakers. I am your host, Nick Stilo, and my co-host, Joe Villar.
Welcome back, everyone.
Now, for the people that were just listening in, obviously, you guys didn't know that we were recording. So, what were we actually talking about? We were talking about luxury that's not really luxury. Like, in your buildings, would you say that there's a lot of amenities that are classified as luxury, but you just think that they're just a common necessity?
Our buildings have a lot of amenities, and our buildings are elevated living because we chose to furnish them that way. Typically, a rental building maximizes every square inch of that building as a revenue-producing area. So they'll get revenues from their parking. They'll get revenues from their locker room. They'll get revenues from their community laundry rooms. They'll get revenues from the bike storage room. They'll get revenues from the actual units. And it's maximized to be able to get revenues from every single square feet. Our buildings have a lot of amenities in comparison to some of these other rental buildings that don't have much. Now, the tide is changing, and there's some great buildings that have been built in the last few years in the city that are luxury focused for a rental building that are more akin to condos, but it's very few and far in between. And like condos, our building has a social room, has a party room, has a private dining room, has co-working space, has a pet spa, has a fitness center, has a rooftop patio.
So if you visit the One Urban Instagram page, you'll see all of, we're introducing renderings. We're showing video about the idea of Old Bronte. This is called a boutique building, right?
Yeah, it's boutique. It's
boutique.
kind of, you call boutique hotels anything under 250 units. So I call this a boutique.
But now, would you
mid-rise.
say that this has some of the boutique-like features that are maybe not in traditional boutique places because you have gone the extra mile for certain things. Now, if I was the outsider wanting to register for the Old Bronte building and you said, well, we have this, this, and this, and this, and I came to you and I said, why? Why did you do these little things?
Because lifestyle is paramount.
Joe, what do you think about it?
Listen, we've really given this a lot of thought. Our Old Bronte project is also a smart building where people can now access their unit with an app.
I'm going to geek out now.
Here we go.
You know, invite guests over for a party in the party room with an app.
With an app?
With an app. Give access to the residents to the building at a certain time on a certain date with an app.
All right, let me geek out. So we've partnered with Rogers One Valet. And what Rogers One Valet is that it is the brain, the smart brain of the building, where residents can use NFC technology, near field communication, and they can grab their phone, and as they walk into the building, they can tap at the front door, and it'll open up the door for the resident to go in. They can also, if they don't have their phone, use facial recognition if they opt in to do so. But there will be a camera there that they can stand in front of. It'll scan their face. It knows that it's the person living at 201, and it's going to open the door for them. When they get to their unit, they're going to do the exact same thing. They're going to use their phone with NFC technology, and they're just literally going to tap their phone on the reader at the door, and it's going to open up. If they want to have a party, as my co-host alluded to, the app will access your contacts list, and you can choose as many guests as you want and tell them, hey, I'm having a party at 2475 Old Bronte, and I want you to come. You send a text message through the app. Everybody that comes to the building will have their own 4-digit code that all they do is reply to the text with their 4-digit code, and it'll open up the door for them. So now if you're throwing a party, you don't have to have somebody standing at the front door to let all the guests into your secured building. They're going to have a 4-digit code that they're just going to text right back to that original text message, and it'll open up the door. When they get to the party room, they type in that same 4-digit code, and it's going to let them into the party room. And for the people that are listening that say, hey, I don't know if I would want some stranger going around the building and having access. Well, it's only going to give them access to the rooms that the app allows them to. So if you're scheduling a party, then the app is going to automatically only give them access to the front door and to the party room. Won't give them access to the parking garage, won't give them access to the elevator, won't give them access to the gym, and it'll cut off at a certain hour. So you as the party host can say, my party's going to be done at 1 a.m. So at 1:01 a.m., that 4-digit code won't work anymore, and it won't give anybody that does not live at the building access to anything. They'll basically have to leave or sleep in the lobby.
Wow. It's interesting. We live in 2024, yet this is crazy for me. It's unheard of.
It gets even better.
Oh,
if you
tell me.
If you have a light that's not working in your bathroom, you go in the app, you put in a formal service request. It'll go down to our property management. Our property management will then deploy that to either the building site superintendent or a contractor that needs to come in and fix that. And by the next day or the day after, it'll be fixed. And they never even have to call down. It's all done through the app. It's all tracked communication.
Okay, pause. You're telling me that in order to get maintenance done on your unit, all you got to do is go on the app, look at what service you need, type it in, set up a date, and they come.
That's
Done.
correct.
So when is registration open?
info@oneurban.ca.
That's absolutely like, it makes life so much stress free.
Absolutely.
Something, because think about it, if you go into a traditional apartment building or a condo complex and you want to get maintenance, it is the biggest, most painful ordeal.
That's right.
Ever. So when you built Old Bronte and you had this vision, was that one of them? To have
absolutely.
Maintenance and everything at the fingertips of the owners?
That was part of it, yes.
A little known fact is that One Urban started as a company called One Oak Developments. And prior to us rebranding to One Urban, our tagline was building smart urban communities.
So the One Urban brand all came from the structure of making life for the urban living more intelligent.
Elevated.
Our company motto is where lifestyle is paramount.
So we've covered
Literally.
I believe you.
That's what our motto is.
Now we've leveled off. If you want to have a party, It's all structured. What other smart technology have you implemented into this building?
Well, geothermal. We've touched on that before.
We have touched on that, but I don't think people truly understand how important this really is. It's not common.
It's been around for a long time, though.
But not
it's actually
used
been around
as much.
since about 70, since about the 50s, about 70 years now.
How far has it come along now?
It hasn't. The technology is the same.
So how come people aren't using it if it's been around so long?
I think the technology was a lot more expensive
I see.
when it first came out. Drilling rigs have gotten cheaper. There's more of them. It's not as specialized as it once was.
I think there's more incentives now to do it also.
There is.
There is, yeah. In terms of, I don't know if there's any government subsidies
Well,
for this type of thing.
Actually, there is. There's ITCs, investment
What is
tax
that?
credit, investment tax credits. So if you, as a private builder, implement green technology into your building, you can claim an investment tax credit on the investment that you made to make it green, and I believe it's up to 30% of your capital expense will be refunded back once you go through the process and they approve it. So there is incentive from the government to do so.
So with a smart home or a smart building, I would say, you still left the historical part. What is it going to serve? What's its purpose there? Why are you looking at me like I've never seen the building before? It's a historical part of it.
Well, we're going to use it as a co-working space for one thing. And because we've integrated now this heritage aspect to the building, now the entire building is considered designated heritage.
That's right. The whole building gets a heritage designation.
Right?
So should we ever
that's a
sell
cool
this asset,
Yeah.
and the new owner wanted to come down, wanted to tear it down
Yeah.
and build double the size, 60
They're not allowed.
They're going to have
They're
a
not
hard
allowed.
time. Yeah.
Because it's now an historical
This is a
site.
historic building now.
A historic building.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's the new part or old part, it's all.
The whole property takes on
Because
a
it's
historic
integrated
designation.
as part of the building, the entire building is not considered.
And while it's fairly common in the city of Toronto, you see it in a lot of buildings where old heritage properties were integrated in some ways masterfully, and in other ways not so much. In Oakville, this is the first. This is the first heritage integration. Every other heritage site, of which Oakville has a lot of, because the town of Oakville goes back to the early 1800s, so there's a lot of history there. But this particular property is the actual first one that has it integrated into a brand new structure. Whereas every other heritage property, you'd always have it isolated off to the side, or it's been moved in some cases even off the property completely and brought to an area of the town of Oakville that's got other heritage homes as a cluster of heritage relics.
So we've talked about all the smart aspects of this building, but what about for the people who now purchase the units? What kind of smart technology is within their units?
Nobody's purchasing them. We own the asset.
They're rentals.
Interesting thing about renters is that renters live in the building and condo owners live in the unit. What does that mean?
Yes. What does that mean?
That means that when you rent, you're renting because of the community. You're renting because of the amenities. You're renting because of the lifestyle that you're going to live at this building, but that you could pick up and move to any other building in the future. Cut your rent or terminate your rent, and move. Whereas when you're an owner, you live in your unit. You spend the most time in your unit. Does that make any sense?
It does. It does. It's just, tell me a bit more about it. I think you have to go a little bit deeper into the mindset as to why you created it this way.
Well,
You got to be challenged this episode.
I got to think about that now. I mean, just the lifestyle in general, being able to come home to a building that has a lobby that wasn't designed to look like this grand lobby, but was designed to look like your living room, that you're walking into something warm. You're walking into a space that you could just sit on the couch and read a book, and you're in the lobby of your building, as opposed to feeling like you're in some grand space that you're going to be looked at every time somebody walks in. It's a very casual space. The whole building has this very casual vibe to it.
Now, we will talk about that. It's not just a building. There's also storefronts to it.
Oh, yeah.
So what is
yeah.
that? What does that mean now? Within the complex, within the building?
Within the building, we're going to have stores at the ground level that will hopefully be servicing the units above. And we are being very careful as to who we curate in occupying those spaces. And we want to make sure that those units well serve the community, not only above them, but around them.
We don't need a shoe store at the bottom of a building.
No.
No, because it's
You
you
need
want
a
to go
doc-
with
you want
the
a
building.
doctor's office.
Yeah, 100%.
You want a cafe. You want a spa. You want a service.
You want a hairstylist?
Nothing against the Al Bundys of the world that are selling shoes. We love shoes. I wear them too.
So we want to cater to everyone's needs. That instead of them going out to get these services, they're within your community. You're in your home, the hub of your building. That's ideally the essential idea of it.
Yeah. I mean, we are slowly coming to a point where a lot of people are working from home as opposed to working abroad
I
or in
see.
the office.
Definitely.
So you're at home a lot more now than you've ever been before. And so if you've got services that are close to you, that make it convenient for you, I think that's a plus.
How is every place going to have a balcony?
Yes.
Okay. On this balcony, what was the purpose behind you actually putting in balconies?
Outdoor space per unit.
And this means what? Like, why was it designed that way?
So that you can go out and get some fresh air and some sun.
Beautiful.
Vitamin D.
Every
Yeah.
unit has this?
Yes.
Is that right?
Which is
Every
actually
unit.
rare for rental too.
That's what I was saying. It's very rare. Now, there's also a rooftop area. This rooftop area is going to serve its purpose as what?
An extension of your balcony. So if you're having a party and you want 30 people there, but you can't put 30 people on your balcony, then take them to the roof. And the roof's actually a really cool space. It's all hardscaped. It has TV walls with outdoor televisions and fireplaces and a lot of greenery and a lot of couches. And
Let's talk of the view, though. I was up there. Let's talk about the view. It's not that you're just getting a really cool
Fantastic
rooftop.
views.
360.
Fantastic views.
Yes.
So having this, is it also part of the app? Can you use the app to book that space?
No, you don't need to book it. That's free space.
For everyone to enjoy.
For everyone to enjoy.
Elevated living.
You guys really thought about everything. And this rooftop is going to be used all year round, or is it just going to be seasonal?
No, it'll be seasonal.
Why was this created to begin with?
Because living in an apartment doesn't mean you shouldn't have a backyard.
Let that sink in a little. Do you think a lot of people are now so stuck in their units, so stuck in their building, that they don't really understand what's happening outside? You got a little lounge downstairs. You have a little workspace downstairs.
Yeah, we're encouraging community involvement, right? Interaction with each other. That's what we're encouraging.
Almost like a family building.
Absolutely, right? Give people opportunity to interact with each other, either on the rooftop terrace or in the co-working space or in the main lobby, wherever. We are encouraging community involvement.
Now, this is Old Bronte. This is in Oakville. Now, obviously, a lot of people know the story behind it, but why Oakville, guys? Why did you choose Oakville?
Oakville was voted one of the best places in Canada to live.
Was this prior to you planning it, or?
Oh, I don't know when that was
not
was
sure.
released. I want to say it was after. We've just always liked Oakville. It's got the lake really close by.
That's
It's
another
It's
thing.
got
yeah.
a lot of families.
So
It's
why don't-
well established.
Yeah, talk to me about the
neighborhood.
amenities in Oakville around the building. What else can people look forward to when they do decide to live here?
Well, one really interesting thing about this particular location is that just under 100 meters away is the future light rapid transit hub for all of Oakville. So it's going to be a station where all the buses terminate, or it's a terminal station, and it's literally within 50 meters away, 75 meters away.
Takes you to Toronto,
No, it'll take you to the GO station, which will take you to Toronto.
and this is how far from Old Bronte, from where we are?
It's 50 meters away. It's like
Steps.
Yeah, it's like steps away.
Steps away. And is this already in the process of being built?
It's planned and approved. It will be built.
Wow. So people don't even need to technically buy a car. They could just
No.
go, jump on the train, and head on wherever the heck they want.
That's right.
This is sensational.
Yep.
And I hope that this is something that you guys already thought of as you were building.
Well, we certainly didn't pick the location of the transit hub. We picked the location near a transit hub.
This is very close.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Would you say that this is something that people are going to use quite often?
I hope so.
Because essentially that would be it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also do have a parking garage.
Yes.
And how many parking spaces are people allowed?
One parking space per unit, and we do have additional parking spaces that are available if someone has a second car.
And if guests come, they have parking spaces?
We have visitor parking spaces, 28 parking spaces for visitors,
Excellent.
27 for commercial.
What is your ultimate goal when planning Old Bronte? When you first went pen to paper and you said, you know what, this is our vision, what was the number one vision that you wanted to achieve by building something like this?
A striking building that had a lot of lifestyle elements to it, something that people would love to come home to, something that you get home, drop your bag off from work, and you go downstairs and hit the gym, and then after that go upstairs and shower and hit the rooftop patio and read a book or watch a hockey game.
Sounds sensational. It almost doesn't sound real.
Oh, it's real.
If people truly wanted to have a much better living experience, Old Bronte offers pretty much everything. And the reason why you created this is because
lifestyle is paramount.
You agree, Joe?
Elevated living, baby.
And where can they find you if they want to know more information about Old Bronte?
oneurban.ca, info@oneurban.ca, and oneurban.ca across all social channels.
And of course, as always, we have our famous tagline.
Groundbreakers out, where dreams get real and bricks get laid. Until next plot twist, happy building.
Thanks, everyone.
Let's go.